Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here at 6 a.m. bright and early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And you can probably tell right off the bat, I have a hard time hiding my emotions. It's been an interesting morning. I'm trying to make sense of four incidents that have happened over the last couple of days. Well, before that too, but I'm trying to make sense of them. I'm trying to see if there's a common cause, a common effect, what they have in common. Two of them involve questionable police tactics. The other two were right here in Connecticut, in Hartford, a mile away from each other. A 3-year-old and a 16-year-old lost their lives Saturday. 1 mile away from each other, two different incidents. And I'm just trying to make sense of all this. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. All right, let me just start from the beginning. Carrie Karen Nazario, the Virginia second lieutenant. The more that video that comes out, I think we probably all seen it now. In Virginia, he got pulled over. Turns out the police didn't see the temporary tag up in the back of his window, and it might be illegal. It might be not illegal, but an infraction for putting the temp tag up in the window. And this African-American second lieutenant keeps driving, not fast, but continues driving to a mile or two away to a lighted gas station. You can see he stops right under the lights. He's trying to do everything right. With everything that's happened recently, I would do the same thing, without a doubt. You're getting pulled over by a couple of cops. You have no idea. I don't blame them one bit. And to see the way these officers acted, telling him that he should be afraid, that he's about to ride the lightning, boy. It's just crazy. Watching these two officers, and if you watch the video, you see the movements. The officer at the door that's commanding Second Lieutenant Nazario to get out of the car. He's moving fast. He is livid. His adrenaline's up. You can see the officer is not even really in control. He's so angry. And he's telling this African-American man and he's part Latino too, I guess. That he should be afraid. And then you see him pepper sprayed, put down on the ground. He was eventually let go with no charges, no nothing. But just to see the way the cops handled this, the way they escalated it. They didn't listen to why he pulled up why he kept going to the gas station. They didn't even, comment that the license plate was right up in the corner window. And they just turned it into a whole more scary, dangerous situation than it ever had to be. Then Duante Wright. This was 2 p.m., I think, Saturday, in Brooklyn Center in Minnesota, 10 miles away from where the George Floyd incident happened. This kid was pulled over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror. Right, 20-year-old African-American man. I think his girlfriend was in the passenger seat. I think those were the two occupants. They take it now. Back when I was a kid, I got pulled over for having my the thing from the when you graduate, the thing from the top of your hat. I had that hanging from my rearview mirror. I got pulled over for that before. Oh, and I had a roach clip with feathers on it that I got pulled over for before too. But I never even was ordered out of the car. I didn't even get a ticket for it. They just told me to take it down and let me drive away. This kid ends up dead. I don't know police tactics or anything. So they get the kid out of the car. Supposedly they find out he's got an outstanding warrant. Now, I've watched cops, and I know that doesn't make me an expert. But from what I've seen, when, the cops usually speak to each other in a kind of a code. If they have a feeling that a suspect might react badly to what's about to happen, and they usually kind of corral him and then, get him kind of relaxed and then handcuff him before they tell him everything. But somehow Duante Wright was easily able to jump back in his car. Okay, that's one thing. So this kid stopped for air fresheners. And from the way I understand it, the officer then fires into the car, fatally wounding Duante Wright, who made the mistake of putting air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror. This is the part I don't understand. This suspect, I don't know what the outstanding warrant was for, but there was no weapons involved. I can't possibly conceive why the use of force was involved. It doesn't sound like the officers were in front or behind the car. Nobody's life seemed to be in danger except Duante Wright's. And once again, this turns into something way beyond what it should have been. You know, and I'll admit, I don't know. You know, there might be more facts, but still, you know, whatever the outstanding warrant, if there was one, what it was for, it still doesn't give any excuse for what happened. Nothing gives any excuse for what happened. I read a good part of what happened. His mother described how Duante called her when he got pulled over. She hears the conversation of him getting out of the car. She hears the officers say, "Duante, don't run." They're telling Duante not to run. The cop's saying that. Duante jumps in the car. Now this cop, you know, knows the kid on a first name basis, but then apparently ends up firing fatal shots into Duante. So then the mother says she calls back again, gets the girlfriend that was sitting in the passenger seat. At that point, Duante was gone. Drove the car a little further down the road and collapsed and hit a pole. I don't even know what to make of these. You know, I don't know what to make of these. A second lieutenant, an upstanding member of our community. Somebody, these are the guys we thank for their service. And look at the way this guy was treated. For what? For having the license plate in the wrong, you know, up taped in the corner of his back window, and for driving to a safe spot. Safe for both the officers and him. So the officers don't get hit by cars on a dark road. And these officers just flip out, can't control their emotions, and we see what they did to Second Lieutenant Nazario. And he's suing them, as a matter of fact. I don't even know, you know. And people question the Black Lives Matter movement. This is why I'm a supporter. Coincidentally, there was a White Lives. This Sunday, yesterday, was supposed to be a situation where they were supposed to have rallies for the White Lives Matter movement, a white supremacist organization for all means and purposes, for all intents. And apparently nobody showed up. One person here, one person there, literally. Far more anti-protesters showed up. And one of the Black Lives Matter protesters that showed up to protest against White Lives Matter was talking to a bullhorn, a black man talking into a loudspeaker. And he was arrested because he was violating sound ordinances. So there's a White Lives Matter, a white supremacist rally, and a black guy ends up getting taken away because he was a little too loud. Just some thoughts. All right, so now to Connecticut. 2 p.m. Saturday, a car pulls up to another car, and apparently there's the object of this other car. The intent was to get the backseat passenger. They fire into the car, and a 3-year-old ends up losing his life here in Hartford. Not even a mile away, another incident involving 2 16-year-old boys. One of them died. Or two, I think both of them may have passed away. I'm not sure. I think there was 3 deaths, 2 shootings within hours of each other, within 1 mile of each other here in Hartford. With that, I think about the drugs. Drugs, to me, personally, I think drugs account for such a huge portion of the violence. I think a lot of people don't take into account the incredible sums of money that are gathered of every minute, every hour of every day that flow into this. And that's what makes the gangs and the drugs, and it's what makes this whole thing glamorous, where we have these 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds driving around armed to the teeth. When this lure of drugs and dealing is so strong. I mean, you could have a 13 or 14-year-old that has as much power and influence as like a CEO of a major company, just simply by doing the wrong thing. Until we start treating, I think we really need to focus on treating drugs instead of putting people in jail. Just one person less buying drugs is a start. Like I say, we all talk about these gangs in Mexico and the violence in Chicago. But the part we're leaving out is where all that, the money that's making that all lucrative, that's making that all possible, a lot of it coming from the Caucasian suburbs, a lot of the big money flowing in, that's fueling, that's providing for all this, that's the incentive for all this. And I think until we look at that, stuff like this is going to keep going on. The thing that bothered me this morning was in Hartford. Once again, I see in this north end, the north end of Hartford, the people of the north end gathering together and saying why this has to stop. And I've been hearing this for years, a decade at least. Especially during the summer, every week, every day, and it just gets to a point where we have to start looking at something different, because obviously what we're doing isn't working. Just some thoughts today. I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a great Monday.